I call it fear porn. Like I don't give into the fear porn that surrounds it because when you think about where we are, like if you read the news, right? You read the news and it's like AGI and AI is going to take all our jobs and everyone panic and we're not hiring new college grads. Like you hear that over there, but I'm in the field every day and I'm still seeing organizations that do manual email approvals. Like, guys, you don't even need AI. Like, you're not even ready for AI. Like, we just need to get you up to 2010 standards. Do you know what I mean?
Hi, and welcome back to the Main Street AI Podcast. This is Stephen with Satori Coach IO, and today I'm joined by Jocelyn Bermudez, founder and CEO of JMB Digital Solutions, a full-service digital marketing agency headquartered in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, that operates under the brand Revolutionize Your Work. What makes Jocelyn's approach distinctive is her background as a human ecologist. She views businesses as complex, interconnected systems and brings over 15 years of experience in project management, team development, and sales and marketing to the table. She founded JMB in 2020 as a solo operation and has since built it into a team that serves organizations across financial services, education, technology, nonprofit, and transportation. Let's dive in. Okay, Jocelyn, I wanted to start with something that jumped out to me right away. You describe yourself as a human ecologist, and you talk about analyzing organizations through an ecological lens. That's unique. That's not how most agency founders tend to frame what they do. When did that perspective start to shape how you approach business and marketing? And how would you say it actually changes the way you diagnose a client's problems compared to how a traditional agency might?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually have a bachelor's of science degree in human ecology. So that's what I went to school for. And people always tease me. They're like, did you learn about how to grow humans? Right? Because when you think about ecology, that's what people associate with. But what the study itself is how human beings interact with the world around them from an individual level, families, communities, workplace, etc. And the whole goal of human ecology is how do we build systems, infrastructure, and framework that is going to benefit humans. So that's what it's all about. So I didn't go to school with the expectations that I would be working in businesses doing that. I just thought it was pretty cool. I'm a human, and I thought, hey, maybe I can use this in all areas of my life. So I actually do take an ecological view of everything because everything truly is interconnected. So, from a business perspective, like we're an agency that does marketing, but we also do a lot of change management. We do software implementations. So, a lot of times they'll bring us in to solve a problem. And I never go in with the expectation that that is actually the problem we need to solve. I want to take a step back and look at all of the pieces, right? Like if your marketing isn't working, why isn't it, right? Is it just this one piece? And how do the people interact within that environment? Who do they work with cross-functionally? And how is it all connected? And a lot of times, sometimes with a problem, the business owner thinks it's actually something totally different, or it's a people related issue and not necessarily systems related issue. So I think the way that we approach things is from a business outcome perspective and understanding how all different parts of the business actually impact that outcome. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. It's very interesting too. This is a complete aside, but for many years I've been a professional martial artist, and
That's
ecological theory, ecological dynamics has become a very hot topic within that domain, and just in recent years. So it's very interesting to see how many fields that becomes relevant in. But we are part of a system, and it's fascinating. Um, in terms of when you started JMB, that's 2020, right in the middle of everything with the pandemic.
yeah.
We've talked about building it from a solo endeavor through to a dedicated team, and your website says, let me look, intimately understand the challenges of growing a thriving business in today's digital landscape, right? And that's because you live them yourself. That's about as dynamic a landscape as possible. What was the hardest part of that early growth, and what did you learn building the agency from the ground up that now shapes how you advise your own clients?
That's a really great question. I always laugh because people always come to me and they're like, "How do I start a business?" And I'm like, "I don't think you want to start a business. You don't know what you're getting into until you get into it." So for me, it was 2020. Obviously, everything stopped. I wasn't driving my children, back and forth to school. And I was like, you know what? I think I can get some clients. I have some really good skills here in digital marketing and understanding how businesses work. And I made a $640 investment. That's how much I spent to start my business. And in my brain, I wanted to work 8 hours a week and have one client and just have that work life balance. And like 9 months later, it was a six-figure agency. I was like finally getting phone calls, right? And I realized like I can't do this by myself. Like I was overwhelmed, I was stressed, and then I started building out a team, right, to really take off some of those pieces for me that were less strategic. And so we grew organically. We're still a debt-free organization, which means we have to plan really closely in terms of managing cash flow and engagements and projects and things like that. It taught me a lot about how people, what motivates them, right? And I've always managed people, but like to manage people from an organization perspective versus departmentally is a lot different. And so I definitely learned a lot about how to put the right people in the right seats. Um, I'm very process oriented, so getting those processes in place. And those are the things that I implement in businesses that I work with, right? We're a big EOS shop. Do you know about EOS?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So we're like a big on level 10. Every Monday, 1 o'clock, we all meet together. And so that's something that we do implement with a lot of our customers as well, right? Because anytime we're trying to do a change management project or just get everyone on board, we find that that structure and framework and consistency really works. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is taking all of my career experience, implementing it in my own organization, taking what I've learned from that and also the mistakes I've made, right? Because we've done well and I'm fortunate, but we've made a ton of mistakes. Like if I could go back and talk to myself 6 years ago, I would definitely say, this was stupid. Why did you do this? Did you consider this instead, right? And so we're constantly evolving and then taking those lessons learned and trying to just be better partners with our customers.
Excellent. Um, yeah, that makes total sense. Also, for those unfamiliar, EOS refers to Entrepreneurial Operating System, and great way to run your business. The book Traction breaks that down. Highly recommended. Um, so, on your site, you have a very clear philosophy that runs through everything. Like you said, you're very process oriented, and the site says smart processes and positive marketing that educates and inspires. So, I'm curious about the positive marketing piece specifically. You've talked about a holistic digital strategy, the interconnectedness of people and technology, which comes back to the ecological piece. In an industry that often defaults to performance metrics and conversion tactics, how do you get clients to buy into a more human centered approach? And what does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. It's funny because when we were building out our philosophy, and you see this a lot on social media, thinking about what triggers people to buy, right? And a lot of times it's through, sometimes I call it bully marketing. So have you ever been on Instagram and you see like a 27-year-old and he's like, if you're not making $300,000 a year and driving this Porsche, you're doing it wrong. So you need to sign up for my thing or buy this thing so that you can get to this level, right? Like there's a lot of that going on. Or like this idea of if you don't do X thing, you're going to fall behind and your business is going to fail. It's a very fear and jealousy oriented type of marketing. And the thing is, it works. Why do people buy luxury goods? Why do people buy things to make themselves feel better and to like elevate themselves? And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I think I always want to approach marketing ethically. And I think when you're doing business with someone, especially in B2B, You want to come at people where they are and kind of understand what their problem is, and not have anything fear-based or you know, have a comparison type of message, but here's what we do, here's how we solve your problem, and just spin it in a way that's positive and not inducing fear in the customer. Like we're very big on that. So I'm never going to be involved in an engagement where someone is like, I want a video of myself on a private plane and we're going to put it on Instagram. Like, if you don't own the private plane, like we're not going to be fake. That's just not what we're going to do. We're going to be authentic. We're going to educate. We're going to solve a problem for the customer. And that means that not every engagement is for me. Like, I've turned down work if it's not aligned with what our values are. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I think that we need to do what's in the best interests of other human beings. I think we have a moral obligation to do that. Is it the best business decision all the time? No, but I can, rest my head on the pillow at night knowing that that's what our stance is. And
Absolutely.
so AI coming into that creates a whole different layer. So I definitely want to talk about that.
Oh yes. So on that note, you've actually built out a pretty comprehensive AI consulting practice, and I saw that one of your positioning lines is strategy before tools. So you start with goals, as you just mentioned, like what sort of outcome can you get for the client, and so it's goals, not software. For agency owners and business leaders who might be listening, what's the biggest mistake that you see companies making when they adopt AI, and how does your approach avoid that?
Yeah, that's actually a really great question. So, what we see a lot of is executives getting really excited about AI, and they're like, AI is going to make us better and quicker. Let's give everyone AI. So now we have enterprise ChatGPT licenses and Claude's licenses and say, great, give it to everyone. Here you go, guys. You have AI. Your job's going to be better and faster now, right? But you don't have this change management piece and you don't have an expectation from the end user. And I think that's where initiatives fail. So when we come in, we saw very specific use cases with AI, right? We're not going to say, roll out AI across your organization and then it's going to be great. So there's a few really good ones that we have implemented with our customers. One is around RFPs, right? So RFPs are something that take a lot of time. It's very difficult and challenging when you're resource constrained. So we build frameworks and systems around helping solve that business problem. Disparate data with your first party data in your CRM, right? We build AI solutions and infrastructure to solve that business problem. So I think that the most effective way is to sit down and say, okay, you want your business to move faster and be more efficient. What does that mean? Does that mean your labor cost is really high and your productivity is low? Well, let's look into that and see what is causing the problem and then solve that problem. And then that's where we can make it scalable, right? Like from a marketing perspective, you have a marketing department, you have brand guidelines over here, you have 8 versions of it. You have one messaging person, 8 people checking off and doing approvals, right? We always talk about human in the loop. So I always laugh. I'm like, let's get AI in the loop, right? So, like, if we have a problem where messaging is going out the door that's not aligned to our brand, how can we use AI to solve that problem to decrease our cycle time? And that's where you start seeing actual a business outcome versus just saying, like, here you go, here's the AI. A great example of this actually is recently, and we work with a lot of salespeople in CRM. Organization gave Claude to the salespeople. You're like, here, use this for your prospecting. But like they had no real use case. Like, I don't know what that means, right? So we
Right.
talked about here are 3 things you can do. Let's load in your territory and help it do territory planning. Let's
Mhm.
look at your current customer list and use AI to help us determine which is highest priority. Let's take a look at what you're sending out and what's resonating and how to do more of that, right? So I think give people specific use cases with an outcome and then teach them on the tool. And then that's where you start to really see that efficiency, those productivity gains, that ROI. Because otherwise, you're just lighting money on fire, giving out licenses and burning tokens.
100%. Yeah. That's very, very much in line with what I've found too. Specific use cases, much better. I've heard many times, we've got all these initiatives, but adoption and execution, there's a massive gap. And so that speaks to it exactly. Uh, you also said that you believe we need AI and automation to fill gaps created by an aging workforce and a labor shortage that's coming. Um, but that it doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, but it doesn't make it any less scary for workers, right? As we all, see every day, there's all this paranoia around AI. Um, how do you balance that tension when it comes to real client engagements, where you're simultaneously helping them to automate processes, right, make them faster, more efficient, but also making sure that the people inside the organization don't feel like they're being replaced, because that could be a major factor in adoption as well.
No, that's actually a great point. And this is something that we do with our own team, right? So if you think about workplaces right now, I think you'd be hard pressed to find workers that say, "Oh, I have plenty of time. My work isn't piling up," right? Everyone is so overwhelmed by their work and by the workload. And if that goes away, right, do you even need me? So I think what we need to do is help workers understand what are things that are strategic and require your human brain to work on it, and what are some things that can be automated, right? And I think if you come to people with an understanding of this part of your job is it's repetitive, it doesn't require, a human to do that, but you actually have really great talents here. I want you to spend more of your time being strategic here. And we do that in our own workplace, actually, with my team. I have replaced tons of jobs, per se, with AI, but then I take the people and then I put them in other areas where we can scale the business. So I do think that there is opportunities, right? And I don't give, I call it fear porn. Like I don't give into the fear porn that surrounds it, because when you think about where we are, like if you read the news, right? You read the news and it's like AGI and AI is going to take all our jobs and everyone panic and we're not hiring new college grads. Like you hear that over there, but I'm in the field every day and I'm still seeing organizations that do manual email approvals. Like, guys, you don't even need AI. Like, you're not even ready for AI. Like, we just need to get you up to 2010 standards. Do you know what I mean? So I do think we're a long way from, hey, AI is going to replace all the people. But I do think instead of creating fear as organizations, we have a responsibility to the people to make sure that they understand their value, where they bring value to the company. And it's not updating a spreadsheet. Do you know what I mean? If your job is updating spreadsheets, like surely there's other things that you can do that will bring value to the company. Work with the AI to update your spreadsheet and then, figure out where else you can bring value, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Also, your service stack is very broad. Got CRM and sales funnel development, Asana implementation, SEO, social media, brand development, email marketing, paid ads. Now you've got the AI piece. So for a company that started as a solo operation, how do you decide what to add to the portfolio versus what to say no to? Um, and how does the team structure work? Like, how has it evolved to support that range without losing the personalized partnership approach that you like to take?
Oh, that's actually a great question. It's funny because when I initially started, we really just did CRM and email marketing. And
Hmm.
I never really wanted to get into the other pieces, right? So I'd have customers and we do this piece of work for them. And they would say, "Oh, but could you build me this beautiful brochure?" Right? I'm like, "Well, we don't have a graphic designer. It is like we do your marketing. I really don't want to have a whole design department, but we have enough demand for it that we literally stood up that piece, right?" So we have dedicated people to each area. So like we have a team that does design, we have a team that does web integration, web design, analytics, and all of those pieces. We have people that deal with CRM integrations and system connectivity, which I still do a lot of that work myself. So I do a lot of the more complex builds. When you're a small organization, you do kind of have to do that. And so over time, it kind of grew based on client need. But then when AI came forefront, really it was 2022, we realized it could make us better and faster. And so as we were implementing AI in our organization, big light bulb of, hey, we're working over here. They also have this problem. How can we use our skills and expertise that we've learned and apply it there? And it's funny because it's like, well, we need experts in AI. And it's like, AI has only been around for a few years, right? And it's constantly evolving and changing. So right now, it's a great time to be in AI because there's no one that's been like, I've been implementing AI integrations for 20 years. Like,
That's right.
everyone is new at it and we're all still learning and it's constantly evolving. And so for us, I think we're not at our limit, but I think we're in a good spot for the services that we offer. But where we find the best business outcomes is with systems integration and with AI. So we are heavily focused there, but we do have ancillary services so we can fill the gap for our customers.
You also publish a lot of educational content. Saw that you recently wrote about content repurposing, schema markup for AI search, PandaDoc for sales workflows, and you run a digital marketing scholarship. So, point being, there's a clear thread of wanting to educate and elevate the space, not just sell services. How does that content and education piece feed the business? And is that a deliberate growth strategy or is that something that evolved more organically?
No, that's actually a great question. So it is a deliberate growth strategy, right? So a lot of our educational pieces do fuel SEO, and so they do drive a lot of traffic to our website. But we also repurpose them for content for our social media channels. And I'm big on CEOs being the primary social channel because I believe people follow people more than brands. So we do post that out for the thought leadership. We send it out for our email marketing. So really for me, it's about practicing what we preach, right? If we're going to implement a solution for our customer, we're going to do the same thing for ourselves. But I think it also highlights what we do that's digestible for people. It's a no pressure, education about the things that we can do to help customers. And so we'll always do that. We post about twice a month. And I collaborate with the content team. I am a little bit of a control freak about content, a little bit, even as the CEO. I'm like, okay, when we do content for this customer, here's what the strategy looks like. Like, I really want to have my hands in those things because I think it's important to really just show the whole breadth of what we do and why it's important to our customers and more broadly.
Yeah, very smart. Um, Last question, and this one is forward looking. So you talk about wanting to revolutionize the way that we work and make people's lives better. If you were to fast forward 2 or 3 years, what does the marketing and advertising agency landscape look like? What kind of agency thrives, and what does an agency need to have in its DNA to survive with what's coming with AI?
That's a great question. 2 to 3 years from now. I mean, I think from a marketing perspective, an agency that's going to thrive is one that doesn't try to be all things to all people, but again, is focused to a very specific use case and really uses data to understand their customers in the buying cycle and build strategy around that using AI. So I see an AI augmented marketing agency that utilizes people in highly strategic roles with AI doing a lot of the background work and the automation. I mean, and I feel that way just about organizations in general. I think marketing's so funny because it's one of those things that it's really hard to track a business outcome to it. And we have these conversations all the time with customers because we talk about like marketing analytics, and it's like, well, our page got 100,000 impressions, and so many people liked this post, and so many people opened this email, which is great, but like, are we generating revenue and are our marketing efforts actually doing something for the organization? So I think another piece of that too is agencies in the future of AI, they need to be able to track marketing activities to a business outcome and use AI to help build that business case. Because why would someone hire an agency when AI could write all their emails and do their LinkedIn posts? Like where do you bring value? And I think agencies that are data driven, understand the customers, do integration and track to a business outcome, those are the ones that are going to win. And you're going to need AI to do that, to augment your workforce.
Absolutely. And what is the best way for people to reach you if they want to get more information about your company and your services?
Sure, absolutely. So my email's always open. It's Jocelyn at jmbdigitalsolutions.com. Uh, you can text me. I'll give out my phone number. It's 843-513-3531. I don't answer calls usually during the workday, but if you text me, I'll schedule a call with you. And then, of course, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get 60,000 followers, so that's an aspirational goal. So you always can reach me on LinkedIn as well.
Fantastic. Jocelyn, really valuable conversation. I appreciate your time, your openness, and also great to hear how your ecological approach is actually working in practice on a day-to-day level for your company and your clients. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Appreciate you.